Hail brothers and sisters, my name is Captain Meatshield and welcome back to Satisfactory. I don't know why the train didn't stop. Is the station full or something? No. I wonder why it didn't stop. Maybe it's because I loaded the game in and it was coming into the station too quickly. It just didn't have time to slow down. Maybe. But I've been doing a little bit of stuff off camera. First off, you'll notice that most of this is gone. Whoa, okay. Let's get ourselves up to a nice perch, if we can. That's better. Yeah, I've shut the miners down at the end of the last episode, and everything is pretty much wound down. So I've kind of restructured things a little bit to just kind of keep the heavy modular frame production up and running. Trying to clear out some of these containers that have got the iron rods and the reinforced iron plates. But it's gone well. Most of this infrastructure is now out of the way. We've got a few bits that are left over this side. Rotor production doesn't really need to be active at the moment because we're not using motors for anything massively important. But there is one thing. We do now have all of the components we need for the next space elevator phase. So I want to chuck all of these in. So we've got 1,000... Oh, it's not going to let me do this all in one go, is it? Alright, give me a second. 1,000 heavy modular frames, 1,000 computers, and 1,000 motors. It's taken a while to get to this point, but let's send it. Oh, be gone, you beautiful creature. Bugger off into the sky, please. Thank you. Okay, so this is now going to list unavailable in early access. Yeah, that's fine. I only just noticed that there's a cup here. How long has that cup been sitting there? And whatever's in it, be it tea or coffee, most likely coffee, is going to be, like, completely cold by this point. It's going to be disgusting. Ugh. But let's have a look at the milestones that we can now do. Because we've now got Tier 7, which gives us access to nuclear power. So we could go about building nuclear power plants. We've got uranium cells, electromagnetic control rods, nuclear fuel, hazmat suits, iodine-infused filters, so we need both of these, I believe, to be able to... Oh, we wear the hazmat suit and the iodine-infused filters get consumed by the hazmat suit. Okay, I get that. That will allow us to actually approach and handle uranium. Because that's going to be important for all the nuclear stuff. And it also gives us a scanner update for Caterium, which I think we already had. Do we? Yeah, we do. Strange. And then there's the Bayer process, or the Bayer process, which gives us the Miner Mark III, the Conveyor Belt Mark V, Conveyor Lift Mark V, Aluminium Ingots, Alclad Aluminium Sheets, Heat Sinks, Radio Control Units, Turbo Motors, Batteries, Scanner Update for Quartz, and Bauxite. So, yeah, there's a lot of stuff. I think I'll probably start with the Bayer process. I don't quite know how it's meant to be pronounced. Unless there's anything... I mean, we've still got a lot of stuff here that we need to finish up as well. Kind of forgot about all this stuff. We could probably get Caterium electronics dealt with fairly easily, so we should do that. Right, plonk, 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 plonk. There we are. Oh.
A more specialized use of Caterium has been unlocked. Smart splitters and new advanced electronic parts are now available.
Well, that's excellent. So, what new stuff do we have to play with? We've got the smart splitter. So we can set rules on those, on how they're meant to split their items, which could be very handy for, you know, streamlining builds, especially if, like, for instance, if we were ever to have mixed belts of materials for some bizarre reason. I don't imagine why we would. I don't know if you can set how much of each item goes in which direction. I don't have any AI limiters to be able to check that out. How do I make those? What do they need? They only need circuit boards and quick wire. That should be relatively easy if provided I have some circuit boards. Which I don't, but I could make some. I just need one AI limiter. And that only needs 2 circuit boards. So that's gonna be easy. Let me make one. I wanna check it out. I wanna see what we can do with it. Right, 1 smart splitter. How do you work? Okay. So if I were to say we've got cable, it would only go out the left output. Sensor output would be Caterium ore, and right would be crystal oscillators. It only lets me set the type of material. Doesn't let me set how much of it can go through. So that's still going to be restricted by the belt speeds. Which again is something that we could play with. It could be something that we can work to fiddle around with and see if we can streamline some of the builds, you know, optimize like how many materials are going in what direction. So something to look at later on. I did have some quick wire up here and circuit boards. I'm an idiot. But what else is new? Well, as for what I'm wanting to do with today's episode, I'm not 100% sure. I'll take as much of that as possible. I think we might try and get some more of these milestones done, just so that we've got more access to all of the different bits of tech. I should see if there's anything new that needs to go into the MAM as well, actually. It's just supercomputers and hard drives at the moment. Okay, nothing new. In which case, I think the parachute will get done just so it gets it off the screen. And then we can look at the rest of the Tier 5 stuff. Well, we can look at some of the Tier 5 stuff. We still need to go about doing some quartz processing, so that we can actually get the crystal oscillators in production, we can get radar towers. Because I'd like to start putting those onto some of the buildings that we've got, even just for like an aesthetic sort of thing. I don't really mind if they're not as optimally functional, because their effectiveness is based on how high up they are. For example, if I were to place one here, and the top of the tower didn't reach up to the top of that, I don't think it would get revealed on the map. I mean, I've already been up there, I think, so it doesn't really matter, but it's like the radar's line of sight comes into play when you're looking at all of this, looking at its functionality. So yeah, we'll go with the parachute for now, just so that we can get that out of the way. We can dump some resources in and consider that done. And I'm just kind of waiting for a lot of the resources that are here to wind down so that we can get this manufacturer out of here. Because I do want to start redevelopment on this area. But I want some of these resources to go because we've got a lot of them. And they don't seem to be going away anytime soon. Although, the screw production over here is probably running down, because all of these rods are now done. Yeah, these are just emptying out at the moment. So, I think the heavy modular frame production will be completely done fairly soon. I'll just let these empty out, and then we can look at things from there. Although you are also still full of screws and rods, so we can always just transfer these into here, get a bit more production, because we probably won't have heavy modular frames being produced for a while once I shut all this down. There we go, parachute milestone done, so we can go and make those. We'll do the alternate recipe for the circuit boards, so I need to get out and grab myself some rubber, which I have in a box just here. Oh, and there's 50. That's perfect. It's exactly what I need. So let's see how many heavy modular frames we've got in here at the moment. 42 is not bad. I'll chuck that one in as well, so I'm not carrying just a lone bit of stuff with me. While we're waiting for the pod to return, we'll start clearing up some of this leftover mess. Yeah, I think I'm a bit full of stuff. Dropping boxes everywhere. Oh, pod's back. So that's actually perfect timing. Yeah, I don't think we're going to have the materials for these for a little while. Especially if we are going to be tearing all of this stuff up. I don't think we're going to get up to 200 of the heavy frames particularly soon. So we'll set radar technology as our next milestone, because we can definitely do the 25 for that one. And I think what I'll do with regards to that, I've got another stator in there as well. I just realised I've got a load of bauxite. So that could be good for when we finally get started with some aluminium work. But what I think I want to do first is tear everything up from here. I want to restructure, reorganize all of this to be a new reinforced iron plate production. We're going to be able to make a lot of reinforced iron plate here. To the point where it's going to get ridiculous. But once the heavy modular frames have finished their stuff, or finished their thing, I'm gonna tear up the manufacturer, probably redirect all of the standard modular frames back into the station so that we can send them back to the outpost that's making them, and from there we'll kind of start restructuring things. I want to really make a start on getting out there and building outposts and turning this into more of a little kind of factory colony sort of thing. I think it's going to work out fairly well. I'm excited, I think. That will just continue to empty out, won't it? There's nothing that's stopping that from emptying, so we'll just get rid of these power lines as well, because they're no longer needed. And we'll start dismantling the floor. That's going off to rotor production, which doesn't need power anymore. No, I know it don't need power anymore. Don't go flying through my bloody buildings again. Oh, that took power away from the standard modular frames. It's going to be figuring out how to build around all these bloody rocks. I mean, can I blow you up? I probably can't blow you up, can I? No. What's a bloke to do? One thing a bloke should do is probably try and find some space. Do I need all these bloody steel beams? I don't think I do. I'm going to go and dump them in one of these storage containers. I'll figure out where to put them later, even if it means just taking them back to the steel outpost. So one thing I think I might do, just for the sake of tidying things up a bit, because I know I can't blow up this bloody thing. I'm just going to encase it. Right, there you go. You'd never know it was there. Oh, he's off. The train is just too cool. I love it. And I did redirect power, so I'm wondering if... Right, that's still showing a connection, which is good. But it does mean that I can now dismantle all these, because they're not connected to things round this way. And we can just tear up the floor and start figuring out where we're going to go with things. Ooh, we are out of screws. That's Rather impressive. I mean, not really. The heavy modular frames consume, what, 90 per build? So it's not that impressive. But it does mean we can get rid of all this nonsense now. You've still got a decent number of screws in there. And we are building a decent-ish supply of the heavy modular frames. We're almost out of rods in this container. So we are slowly clearing things away. And what I think I'm going to do for where this is all going to go, I'm going to build things out like this. No, actually, we won't do it like that. What we will do, build it off the side like that. Just kind of incorporate things into this new height, the height of this new platform. So we'll have it about that, I think. And that should look pretty good. I think not having everything at like kind of the exact same standard height is going to make for some interesting viewing when we get to start traveling around and seeing the different outposts. That's what I like about these sorts of building games and stuff where you just get to kind of construct stuff and you just get to make your own little worlds. And it's always just awesome. So I think I'm going to keep the smelting over this side of this little complex. Oops. I just think that things are going to get arranged slightly differently. We'll go with our more kind of the kind of standard way that we've been going about building smelting arrays. I may want to build this up further because of all this. But I mean, if this were to be the belt floor, then the actual smelting floor would be like that. So not terrible. I mean, it's kind of in the way, but depending on how we build the smelters, we might be able to work around that. So I'll keep that in mind. At the moment, I just kind of want to build out this platform for the belts, so I can start trying to plot things out in my head. Not that that ever yields any good results, but it's worth trying. Right, these modular frames are going to be running down soon. I might try and transfer all of the rotors over onto the other side of the station so that it's all out of the way. We'll chuck them into a big industrial storage container, and they can just sit over here by the motor production, which is another thing that will inevitably end up moving at some point. We'll have to find... Oh, I'm missing steel pipe. Whoops. Yeah, we'll have to find somewhere that we can re-establish that, possibly with, you know, a new set of iron nodes. We'll figure something out. It'll take time. We might just have to go on an adventure to go, like, scouting for materials and resources so we can plot out where things are going to go in the future. Right, that'll do. Let me get some Mark IV belts over here to start shifting some things around. I could just straight up build this on top of the machines like this. Right, and that will fill up nicely with all of these rotors, which we can come and raid should we ever need them for anything. Which we probably won't. Not all that much. That assembler can go. And as soon as this storage container is empty, that can go as well. But everything's coming out of that on a Mark IV belt, so it won't take long. And all of this seems to have wound down as well now, because there's no longer a screw supply. Yep, that's all done. Okay. We are going to change this from unloading to loading. We're going to disconnect these belts. Get rid of this merger. And... Right, yeah, we're going to have to just kind of dismantle a few bits. we're just going to connect that. Oh, not down there. Right. Reinforced. Oh, not reinforced. Heavy modular frames. Or regular modular frames. I don't even know what I'm talking about anymore. It's all just nonsense. But I'm gonna take a trip over to the modular frame outpost so that we can reverse what the station is doing. Get it so that it's unloading, and then we can just bring all of the supply back over to that outpost and just leave it there for the time being. Oh, okay. That's how it works when it does that. Huh. I was very confused by that. Oh, God, you're picking up speed and knocking me about. Oh, no, it was the belt going over the, Mind your head. And please mind the gap. I'm going to try and get a bit of a boost off that, so that I can get over here and switch the platform over before the train actually comes in. And we'll have this as unloading, and this as unloading. And completely unload that train. Oh boy. Yep, that's nice and full. Alright, and I will think we will have the train return to this station. Okay, we'll apply those changes. Next stop. It should be coming here. Or have I just cocked it all up? Alright, I tell you what. Get it to go there. Once it comes back around, then oh no, yeah, I mean I've still got the modular frames being produced over there, so I want all that to transfer over here anyway. So that's fine, never mind me. I'm getting myself all confused. Because there's a lot of change happening, and change is scary. Don't like change. Well, I have a feeling that train's going to be doing the rounds with little to no cargo at the moment. Unless this assembler has completely run out. Because if that's what it's done, then... yeah, it's got no rods left. Okay, I will have to find somewhere to chuck all these reinforced iron plates. That's going to be fun. All of the rotors have finished transferring though, so we can move those, get rid of all of that, and yeah, we'll start getting rid of some of this stuff. Just kind of clear the space, clear the air, and all that stuff. On the subject of clearing the air, I might encase all of this in walls and foundations, just so that we can't see it and go near it. Because it's fucking horrible. Right, this container's completely empty, so I'm going to just have this for reinforced iron plate at the time, for the time being. Completely clear this space out. Get rid of all of this leftover nonsense, shall we? Yes, I do believe so. And we're doing a good job of tidying things up, getting ourselves ready for the next kind of big build. What I'm going to do is let all this stuff run down, and then I'll start literally laying the foundations for getting a new outpost up and running. I'll run the numbers off camera so that I can figure out how much we're going to be producing, how much we're going to get out of the nodes that we've got here, whether I'm going to use these 3 or if I'm going to include the 2 that are up there. I'm not 100% sure on that front at the moment, because I think these 3 are normal output and those 2 up there are impure. So I'm not even sure if it's worth trying to tap those for a little bit of additional production, because yeah, I reckon we're going to be producing a shitload of reinforced iron plate here. But I'll run the numbers, and then next episode we'll sit down and start trying to plot all this stuff out. I think it's going to be very, very fun. and then we'll just kind of take things forward from there. So for now, I'm going to wrap this episode up here and just say thank you all so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, check out the playlists on the channel for more Let's Plays on metal covers, and give this video a like or a comment just to leave your thoughts. And if you wish to join the ever-growing ranks of the Order of the Shield, subscribe on YouTube, chuck me a follow over on Twitch, or maybe even consider checking out my Patreon and becoming an officer within the ranks. But thank you again for watching this video, and I will catch you all very, very soon. This is Captain Meatshield, signing off.
Are we the prey? No, we are the hunters. Yes.
It'd be nice if the tank wasn't demolishing everything. I'd like to commandeer some of those jeeps, but okay, never mind. I was going to say we almost had it, but then grenades happened.